Hi, I'm Hope, and this is my road to recovery.
And welcome back to another edition of My Road to Recovery, Lawrence County Recovery and Wellness's My Road to Recovery. Kathy Ross, owner of Lawrence County Recovery, and Hope. Now, Hope, when we were just talking a minute ago, I asked you, Tommy asked you what your name was. You said Hope, and then it just flew all to pieces. Kathy said, "You ain't gonna believe it. Wait till you hear the story. It wasn't all Hope."
It is.
So I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear that. She looks so innocent.
She does. She just looks like this innocent little thing.
When she was walking through a while ago, I thought, I wonder if we're doing Hope today, and we are. So I want to hear the story.
Yeah. Oh,
man,
Let's
it's a good
hear
one.
So a couple of years ago, I get a phone call, and she needs treatment, and we were talking back and forth. And I said, okay, so we'll send somebody to pick you up. Now, that time wasn't too bad. You went that time, you came, because that was the first time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you came, and you stayed for how long?
I think 90 days.
I thought so, about 3 months. I think it took care of some stuff that you had going on, and you had all that. Then you left. Then she calls me several months later, and I know something's wrong. Like, she's not herself. I'm like, where are you at? She tells me. I said, who are you with? I said, sit still. I'm going to send somebody to get you. And by the time I'm talking to her, she had some psychosis going on, fair to say. You'd been up for so many days in a row. And we can laugh about it now. At the time, it was very serious.
Yeah, it was
and I was
not
sending
funny
a
at the
transporter to
time.
go pick her up, and I had to give him a safe word. I'm like, here's your safe word.
Uh-oh.
And if something happens, you need to know that you're going to call me, okay? And so he gets there and picks her up. Mind you, it's like 3 hours away. So he drives, gets her, brings her back. Before I got in the front door, she had already went out the back door, got in the car with somebody else, and was already gone. She was just
You
trying to
ain't
get
coming back,
riding.
was you?
No, not
She's
that
wanted to
time
ride
I
with me.
wasn't.
I could have killed her.
Oh my
Because
God!
You had made the agreement that I would go to inpatient psychiatric treatment before I came.
Yeah.
And I remember the whole 3 days I was in there, I was like, no. I was like, screw Cat Ross. I'm going.
That's not the first time you've heard that, is it, Kathy?
They call me.
I was planning my exit before I even arrived. I was.
Had it all set up 3 hours away now. Got her here,
Yeah.
and I'm looking for her. I was driving, I was going to do her paperwork. I was like, anybody see Hope anywhere? And they was like, she just got here. And one girl said, I think she went out that door over there. I said, are you serious?
How did you? What eventually happened?
Well, finally, she decides that she wants treatment, and she's able to kind of engage and do what she's supposed to do later on. But it was kind of a scary thing there for a minute. Mental health is it's right now, like I said, we can laugh about it. At the time, it was very serious.
Oh, absolutely.
And my main goal was to help her get somewhere for crisis stabilization. I knew she had medications that she hadn't been taking, and she'd been up for several days, and she's not had any felony charges up to this point. And I'm like, girl, it's like a gift from God. Okay?
Absolutely.
Like, we can intervene
That
right
very
now.
rarely happens, too.
Ever. I know. It's like just a
Yeah.
couple of them.
Right.
So finally we get her in. She goes through treatment, does amazing. There was a couple about her age, and they really, I mean, it was hard. They tried everything to pull every trick out of the hat because they tried.
None that you hadn't saw before, though,
my
right?
goodness. Oh no, well, a couple I hadn't. I mean, they did get me a good time through, didn't I?
Yeah.
Then-
We were always up to something.
It is. Then she's doing great. She's in treatment, and she's got a car, and she's driving down the road, and she gets pulled over. Was you speeding?
Yeah, I was going like 7 overs down on County Road in South Point.
Yeah, they pulled her over. There was an old warrant for her from like way back
Oh,
that had already been
no.
taken care of. So they're calling me, and they're like, come and get me, come and get. Like, what is going on? So we got a hold of everyone that we needed to. She got out of jail relatively quickly because it wasn't supposed to be an active warrant.
Yeah.
She goes away from us. She completes and goes and works in treatment at another location. Did you work 2 or 3 places? Didn't you?
Yeah, I think this is my 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then so she'd been gone about a year and a half or so, and she called one day. We needed a case manager, and she wanted to come in and interview for the position. I was like, girl, are you going to beat me out the back door this time? Like, how's this going to work? But yeah, it's very interesting. Some of your stuff started at a young age, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, give us just a quick little history there. Not that you can do it real quick, but give us a little history there.
Well, just like a little run through. Both my parents are addicts, so like my dad was like never really there, and then my mom, like I just got drugged through like her whole addiction with her. Except the times like CPS would get involved, and my grandma did her best to raise me. But I started using when I was 18. My brother passed away from a drug overdose. And that kind of led into those feelings of like, hopelessness, really, and I just didn't know how to deal with that. And like between my mother and my father, like that was like the coping skills I guess they instilled in me. So that's how my addiction really took off. Like looking back now, I can like okay, I had addictive behaviors before I ever put a drug in me. So like that kind of happened, and it was just like a whole back and forth with the courts. I think the first time I tried to go to rehab was I was 19 years old. Like I just turned 19. Obviously that didn't work. I had 16 different treatment stays before it stuck this last time.
16.
And in the middle of those 16, my mom passed away in 2020 from a result of her addiction. It wasn't the drugs itself, but it was a health issue that had resulted from the years of drug abuse.
And when she comes in, the first time I meet her, like I'm like, okay, you're 19, 20 years old. We're going to fix this now. You don't have felonies. Let's get this moving. And that's why I think it's really important for people to know that sometimes it's not the first time. The first time they go to treatment, they may not stay sober. The second or third time, they may not. The 16th time, you got it, though, didn't you?
That's hard to, I don't know. That may be a first for me that I've ever heard somebody go, I mean, I have to ask why. I mean, did you just kept going and going?
Well,
you didn't want to give up, did you?
I think there was like always that part of me like that knew I wanted to like overcome this, but like a majority of those was like the court system sitting me down, and like I just wasn't open-minded. I was also young, and in my head I was like, I have all these years, I can rip and run still, and like that just wasn't the case. I also wasn't aware of like how fast it can catch up to you. Like I was just talking to Kat before we started, like that time I was here and then I left, like I was gone for 6 months, but like the amount of damage like I did
was amazing
to my body and my brain in those 6 months.
The first time I talked to her after that, I was like, where are you at right now? Like, because I knew it had progressed greatly with mental health, and I knew if we didn't help her get somewhere, that what could come next. And so it was, and I knew, and it's hard, isn't it? That with methamphetamine, people don't understand. Like the drugs, the meth from right now, even 2 years ago, is totally different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like what we're seeing in the clients that we serve, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's just like rapidly progressing. Like it scares me, honestly, for the ones that do continue to go back out. And then I think like each time I came, I would tell myself I was ready to like deal with the stuff that was like keeping me using, but I really wasn't. As soon as them emotions hit, like I was gone, like out the door.
Yeah.
It didn't help that every time I came to treatment, I was almost always high too. So like I had to go through the come down part, and
I can't imagine. You know, it's been 20 years since I did meth.
Yeah.
And it was as bad, how bad it was then. I can't imagine what it's like. It drove me insane.
Yeah.
I mean, completely into oblivion, you know, because you just, as I always called it, dust off the devil's coffee table, you know. I mean, you do cocaine or whatever, I could go function to some degree.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but, you know, I could function to some degree. That meth, you're gone.
Yeah.
Nothing
it's like
made
a shell
sense.
of a person at that point. And I try to tell clients all the time because I've like heard the statement before, well, it's not like I'm out here doing fentanyl and heroin, like I'm not going to overdose and die. And I'm like, but you're not understanding, like not coming back mentally is just as bad.
Oh, God.
Well, you don't know what it's cut with now.
Yeah.
I've seen people with QRT, we go out and that they say that they're just methamphetamine users and they don't want to use anything else, but they had a fentanyl overdose because it was cut with something else.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not aware of it. It's just kind of scary what they kind of go through now, and it's awesome to see Hope in the position that she's in now, because at that time I was real concerned. I didn't know if she was going to be able to pull out of it, but she really kind of buckled down, didn't you? I mean, you did all your mental health stuff and everything that was necessary to do, she did, and then when she wanted to come back to work, she come in, we sat down, and usually when you come back to work at a place that you had been in previously, like the expectations are kind of high. I think you guys put that on yourselves a lot.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, are you ready
nerve-wracking.
for this? Like, are you ready? You know, you're going to know people that you've seen before as authority figure. Now we're coworkers. How's that going to work? So we met a couple times just making sure she was comfortable and things were going well. And she's done amazing. She's a case manager at our independent living. Since she's been here, she's pregnant. She's having a baby.
Oh, that's all. Are you kidding?
Awesome. And she's in school. She's in college, enrolled in college. I'm so proud of her. How long have you been in school?
Almost 2 years now. I'm done actually this week with my associates. It'll be in substance abuse and applied science. And then I'm going to go back to school in August at OSU for the social work.
Did you ever think about that 13th stint in rehab that you would be sitting here fixing to have a baby college degree,
No.
helping other people kick that demon?
Amazing.
No, I was just laughing about that with somebody the other day. I was like, I would have called you everything under the sun if you even told me, like, even just like this much of what my life is today, that I would have those things.
See, God may have had a plan for you because He named you Hope.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And
I always tell 'em.
You're giving a lot of people hope,
She
too.
is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
She's carrying. She's on the dean's list at school. Like she's doing all the.
I don't want to hear all that. I feel horrible.
I know. I just,
I
just
can't
see her,
spell.
I mean, I'm dyslexic.
Oh.
They get text messages from me. It's like cryptic. They already know. It's spelled backwards, missing words, everything. But it's just amazing to see what you've done. I'm so proud of you. It's been great just to watch this transformation that happens, and then to get to watch you become a mother. And this child will never know a Hope that was on drugs.
I know
this
that.
kid never has to know that. And that's
I
amazing.
think that's like probably one of my greatest accomplishments so far. It's like my kid does not have to see me like that.
Yeah.
And thank God.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God, that was a mess.
Thank God.
Yes. So if there was something you could say to someone that was 17, 18 years old that's in active use, what would you tell them to, I don't even know. I didn't use that young. So it's kind of hard for me sometimes to
didn't
connect
either.
with them. So what would you say to that person?
I think like for me, like being so young and like going through those things and like trying to get in rehab and trying to get sober, like my biggest challenge was like a majority of the people around me were older. And like I had to like learn to accept the fact that like I was growing up in a rehab facility. I tell people all the time like rehab raised me.
I feel like that too. Like I feel like several of them, like we seen them through birthdays, through major accomplishments, through the down times, the up times. It's like, but you guys can become a family.
Yeah.
And I think there's something special that happens when you're ready.
Yeah, for sure. I've had so many like rehab moms. It's not even funny. And then I think like when you're younger like that too, like you get under this impression that like you're missing out on your like golden years or whatever. Because let's be
partying.
honest, like your 20s, like people are like that's for partying and bars and like going out. And
That's not
I
an
just
option.
felt really like out of place almost because like everybody I knew was like going out to parties and clubs and those types of things, and like I'm sitting down in rehab.
I interviewed a girl one time at Recovery Point, and she said the same thing. She said, I wanted to get clean, but then I thought, God, I'm only 19.
Yeah.
I've got all this time to party and go out, and God, if I quit now, I'll have to be clean the rest of my life, and I'm only 19.
Yes.
And of course, she ended up ODing like 7 or 8 times, and a lot of people think that way. That's a morbid way to think too,
It
because
is.
you won't ever see 25.
No, they don't.
Nowadays,
A lot of them don't.
yeah.
Like, they get a
Yeah.
clean date, but it's usually on a tombstone. Like that's the date because
Oh, yeah.
we see
Ooh.
that a lot. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just what it is at that age. And when you get a bunch of folks that age in rehab together, the drama's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I can
so you have to
imagine.
deal with that too. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just so proud of the accomplishments that she's
Absolutely.
had. It's been great. I'm telling you, just the transformation that's happened. I just cannot wait to see this baby and how you get to be a
I know,
mom.
I'm
It's
so
gonna be great.
excited.
Life changing right there, gal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Thank you so much for sharing your
Yes,
story,
please.
okay?
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
You too.